Welcome fellow gamers, my name is Dune Mountain, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how to be a better player and how to die less in Battlebit Remastered. This subject is a difficult subject to talk about, because like Murphy's Law says, there's a lot of different things that can happen and eventually will happen, and all players don't have any control over it. But there is some things that you can do to improve your odds, like for example, game settings, the way that you should engage your targets, how to improve your accuracy, how you should use your class that you like to play with, and where you can train yourself to become a killing machine. And we are going to explore all that right now. So first, let's tackle the basics. When you start playing a new game like Battlebit, what you should do first? Well, is not playing the game. I know that is the first thing that we as players want to do, but you shouldn't. First, you should optimize the settings. The graphics settings will depend on your computer, but normally, the lower your graphics are, the more FPS you will have. That is always good for the fluidity of the game, but if you have a high-end computer, you can do better graphics without losing those important frames. Normally, you should always turn down the motion blur and the VSync in most cases. And because Battlebit is a low polygon game, Battlebit don't need a supercomputer to run it. Actually, almost all PCs should be able to run it, and because of that, in this game you don't have to waste too much of your time tuning in all settings. The field of view is also an important setting that you must change. For that, of course, it will depend on what class you want to play. For example, if you are a main sniper, you should use between 60 or 80 FOV, because the lower your FOV is, smaller the image on your screen will be. It's like when you make a zoom in on an image file, and with a smaller image, everything inside the image becomes bigger, helping you to have a larger target, and consequently, it makes easier to aim for those headshots. The downside of having a lower FOV is that you will feel that your character is slow on the movement department, but since that you are going to pick targets from a distance, the low movement will not affect you too much. On the other hand, if you prefer assault or support classes, which are the more suited for mid-range combat, then your FOV should be something in between 90 and 105. That makes your image on the screen bigger, like you have made less zoom or zoom out. And yes, everything on your screen, including your target, will become smaller. This may make it slightly more challenging to hit smaller targets, but you will have access to a bigger peripheral vision, so you will sacrifice having a smaller target to have a broader view of your surroundings, and see better the map and possible enemies trying to flank you or surprise you. But if you are more of a SMG kind of guy that loves close quarter fights to whisper into the ears of your enemies, then I will suggest you to have a FOV between 100 and 120. I play at 120 FOV, because at close ranges you will need to be aware of your surroundings, where the enemies are and where the cover is all the time. The max FOV will improve significantly your chances of survival. And as a side bonus, the bigger your FOV is, you will have the sensation that your character moves faster. Yes, it's only a sensation, because in reality the same character moves at the same speed all the time. It's an optical illusion, but that makes you feel like the game is more fluid and quicker. Next, after having all settings tuned up, you should play the game. No, not the multiplayer, not yet, I'm sorry. You should instead go to the shooting range. There you can try to hit some moving targets and try to understand if your crosshair is moving too fast or too slow. If you miss a lot of shots, that is an indicative that your sensitivity is in need to be adjusted. So normally a slower sensitivity on your mouse or even controller translate in a better recoil control of your gun and aim. And again, the playstyle that you play, for example long, mid or close range, will also have an impact on the sensitivity that you must choose. A sniper at long ranges needs slower sensitivity to be able to accurately aim to the head. But a SMG enthusiast at close ranges need a faster sensitivity in comparison with the sniper, because you will have targets that can come from every angle, so you must be able to move fast when needed. So adjust the sensitivity until you start missing less and less your shots, and keep practicing with the same settings for a couple of days to create the muscle memory. If after a couple of days you still feel that something is off, try to slowly increase or decrease the sensitivity and give a couple of more days of training. What you can also use to improve your aim and practice more is by using some of the apps on Steam, like for example Aim Labs, that you can program the same sensitivity and practice with different levels of difficulty. So now that you have your settings tuned in and you have mastered your aiming skills, you must be thinking that now is the time to jump into the game and collect some skulls as trophies. Well, yes, is the time, but you haven't yet unlocked your full potential. It's not because that you have a nice tune-up PC and a good aim that will make you a god of war, because you still need to have map knowledge and good tactics if you want to survive long enough to get a kill. If you are always being killed from behind, from the sides or by nades constantly, and you don't even have the time to pull the trigger that you already are dead, maybe it's because you still need to understand how to position yourself on the map and understand how to anticipate your enemy's intentions. Well, for the map knowledge, you really have to spend time playing the game to really know and memorize where you are allowed to pass through, where to find cover, where to find vehicles, and in case that you need to fall back, where to find a quick exit. There is no other way around it. The more you play, the more map knowledge you will have. While you play the game, be especially attentive where the hotspots are on each map. It will be essential for you to know later. Hotspots are places in the map where normally both teams find themselves blocked by each other with no other way to pass through, and they fight against one another for prolonged amounts of time. You should avoid being inside a hotspot. Normally it's a death trap filled with nades, bullets everywhere. Yes, sometimes it's fun to send a nade or empty a 100 round mag and kill a couple of enemies in seconds, but it's rare that happens. So knowing where those spots are to avoid them is essential for you, and also to start implementing your destructive tactics. So now you have your settings ready, you have trained your aim, you know the map inside out, and you know where the hotspots are. Now you only need to know some tactics to how to approach an enemy without him knowing that you are hunting him. First, spawn as little as possible on your teammate, only if he says that you can do so or if you see that he's far away from the fight. Spawning on a teammate is like playing the Russian roulette. You never know what is going to happen, and is a bad tactic. You should always minimize the chances of being caught off guard. So even if he's farther away, try to always spawn on an objective controlled by your team, far away from the hotspots. After spawning, try always to take the long and farthest path to your next objective or hotspot. Don't try to run as fast as you can to reach your final destination quicker. Take your time. Stop a couple of times along the way to take a look ahead and also behind. And if you know that someone is close, stop and listen. Try to find out where the enemy is, and if necessary, send him off to respawn. But remember, when you kill an enemy, all that noise and commotion, even if the enemy don't use the voice chat, it will alert nearby enemies of your presence. So be ready to heal and reload on the way, because it's wiser to change position after getting a kill, to let the enemy confused about your whereabouts. If you progress slowly in the map instead of running and rushing, you will have more chances of surviving the journey, and you will be more aware of your surroundings and potential threats. Now you are close of your objective, so what do? Well, it will depend on what class are you playing. If you are a long-range killer, first position yourself sideways or even almost behind the enemy lines. Try to find a place high. And I'm not talking about the sniper tower or windmills. Those are obvious spots. Be smart and use the high place with some cover, like a hillside or a tall building with a lot of windows and firing angles, because even if it is a good spot, you will have to move after a couple of kills, or else you will be spotted and killed eventually. But if you are more of a mid-range soldier, well, approach carefully and find a place with some good cover. Again, it can be a building, a giant rock, it doesn't matter. It must be a place where you have mobility, protection and visibility both ways for the objective and where the enemies are spawning from. And again, after a couple of kills, move on and approach carefully and slowly the objective or hotspot until everyone is dead. But if you are more of a close quarters titan, well, you have two options, or you attack from the sides, or even better, from behind. Until 50 meters from the objective, take it slow, but when the enemy is close enough that you can't smell their feet, run. Be quick, get in, kill, get out. Keep going and stop only in a secure place or a place with difficult or limited access to restock your ammo and bandages. Because, don't forget, you are on enemy's territory and they are everywhere. You must be unpredictable and smart. Use anything and everything in your advantage. For example, simulate that you are going up in a building first just after jumping back down and go up again to find your enemy. Or if you are shooting some target and he hides back, keep firing your weapon for 1 or 2 more seconds in case that he picks back. If not, change angle of sight to confuse him and surprise your enemy somewhere else. And these, my fellow gamers, are some of the ways that you can improve your gaming experience and how to be a better player in Battlebit Remastered. There are still a couple of tips that I didn't mention because this video is already too long. If necessary, I will make a second video about game mechanics, statics and tips for you to go to the next level. So let me know on the comment section if you want more tips to how to die less and kill more in Battlebit Remastered. And I hope that you have liked this video, and if so, consider to smash that like or dislike button. It really helps the channel grow and motivates me to do more and better content for you. And if you want to see future content, consider to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to receive the notifications. And I will see you all on my next video, but until then, have a nice day, good gaming, Dune Mountain out.